December is not the month to list your house, unless you absolutely have to. But for buyers, December is when you can scoop up some of the best deals. And here's the paradox, which is a big word for me. Especially for downsizers and move-up buyers, you can absolutely find a great house at a great price right now. But if you need equity from your current home, selling in December gets tricky. You may have to price aggressively, leave money on the table, and end up wiping out the gains from that great deal in the first place. Imagine that. A realtor, me, telling you not to sell your home. Now, obviously, there are exceptions. If the perfect home comes up in the exact neighborhood you want, sometimes you have to pounce. But this video isn't about those one-off situations. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what happened in the Calgary market this past November, what types of homes people are buying most, and at what prices, and then I'm going to give you real strategies and highlight a few opportunities for anyone looking to break into the market for the first time or find their perfect second home during the magical yet slow period of the winter holidays. Quickly, before we jump in, every month I try to provide a fresh take on the numbers, focusing on the actual stories behind the data. If that's something you value, hit the subscribe button so that you never miss an update. Now, let's jump into it. November is when we start to see a significant drop in new listings. In Calgary, listing activity usually peaks in late spring and early summer, then tapers off through the late summer and fall. By November, it's normal to see roughly a 30% decline from peak levels, and by December, we typically see another 40 to 50% drop before things reset in January. This year, new listings were down 3.3% compared to November of 2024. But fewer sales, down 13.4% year over year, and higher inventory, up 28.2%, kept us in balanced market territory at 3.59 months of supply, with homes taking about 49 days to sell on average. A very different picture from last year's hyper-competitive seller's market. Personally, I like a balanced market because it lets realtors actually justify their existence. Not every deal is easy. You need to be dialed in on the data, understand where the opportunities are, and know how to position a home properly based on location, price, presentation, and product type. Not just throw a listing online and hope that the real estate gods bless you with an offer. Before we get into what people are buying, let's hit the stat everyone cares about: benchmark price. The benchmark price is actually down 4.6% year over year, sitting at $559,000, compared to about $586,000 last year. In other words, buyers today are paying less for the typical Calgary home. Here's the nuance. Benchmark and median prices are down year over year, but average price hasn't really changed because it's driven by a mix of what sells. A spike in luxury sales pushes the average up. A surge in condo sales brings the average down. Neither means the market itself has changed value, and the sales data backs this up. Detached sales are down 5%, semi-detached down 3%, while row townhomes are down 22% and apartments are down 28%. So even in a balanced market, different segments move at very different speeds. Now let's take a look at what people are buying and where they're buying it. Benchmark prices are down across Calgary, with the steepest declines in the north, northeast, and east regions. In fact, every product type in every region has seen a lower benchmark price, except semi-detached homes in the west and northwest, which have quietly continued the climb through 2025. That got me thinking, what price brackets are people actually buying in, and what kind of home does your money get you right now in November of 2025? Before we dive in, one quick note, I'm looking at the typical product within each price band, not everything below it. Yes, you could buy something atypical under or within the band with different features, but that's not the point of this thought experiment. And originally, I was going to give you the top 3 price bands based purely on volume, but those all capture similar product types and similar buyers. They also miss where a huge portion of first-time buyers enter the market. So instead, let's start with the 4th most active price band, $300,000 to $400,000. At this price point, you're not getting a detached home. but you will find apartments in the city center, north, west, and southeast, along with row townhomes in the northeast, north, and south. And the only way to avoid condo fees in this range is by looking at a typical semi-detached home in East Calgary. This is a fantastic price range for buyers entering the market. If I had to pick one property type and location pairing for equity potential, I'd choose a semi-detached in the east. Getting into a product with no condo fees, actual land, room for sweat equity, and even future suite potential is a real advantage. But now let's be honest, the east isn't one of Calgary's most desirable regions. But if location is a concern, you can sometimes find similar semis in other parts of the city. They're just rare and you need to be quick when they hit the market. If you want help building a plan for that, reach out. But if you've got a bit more budget, our second most purchased price band opens up more variety. The next price band is $600,000 to $700,000. In this range, you won't be paying condo fees, and you can get into a detached home in the north or southeast, or a semi-detached in the northwest. Both the north and southeast offer everything from 1960s and 1970s character homes to brand new builds. For context, the typical year built in the north is 1998, and in the southeast, it's 2001. Both newer than Calgary's average of 1992. My recommendation in this price band is to think hard about lifestyle and space. A detached home in Sage Hill feels very different from one in Riverbend, even at the same price point. And Riverbend might have easier access to the future Green Line, but with Calgary transit projects, who really knows? There are a lot of solid options in both districts, and it really comes down to the lifestyle that you want. And by a wide margin, the most purchased price band in Calgary is $500,000 to $600,000. In this price range, you'll find a typical detached home in the northeast and east, a semi-detached home in the south or southeast, and if you want more space than an apartment, row townhomes in city center. This band attracts a very diverse buyer pool. First-time buyers, downsizers, and people moving up from condos. This competition often pushes the best properties into multiple offers. It's also the price band where you can start considering almost any area of the city. You might just have the compromise on product type if you want to live in a pricier region. For example, in West Calgary, this range only gets you row townhomes or apartments. My recommendation here really depends on the buyer. Downsizers may want lock-and-leave simplicity in an affluent area. First-time buyers might want sweat equity potential. Move-up buyers often prioritize lifestyle. Schools, commute, community feel, especially if children are in the picture. This becomes even more important if you're selling. In a balanced market, location, product type, and presentation heavily influence results. Pricing strategy matters even more now that we have fewer buyers and more inventory. A common pricing mistake always stands out to me. Example, a typical semi-detached home in North Calgary sells for about $491,000. And many sellers think listing at $490,000 or $495,000 makes sense, and oftentimes that's correct. But remember, the most purchased price band is $500,000 to $600,000. If you even price at $499,999, every buyer searching at $500K and up won't even see your home. You cut out the largest pool of buyers instantly. And that brings us to the last part of this analysis. Given your situation, what opportunities exist if you're looking to sell or buy right before the holidays? Now, the beginning of this video covered a lot of information, so I want to keep this next part simple and easy to follow. I already mentioned that November and December usually aren't the best months to list your home, unless you have one of these 4 property types. The first one being detached homes in Northwest or West Calgary. Okay, I'm grouping both of these together because their numbers are nearly identical. Both regions are still in a seller's market with sales to new listings ratios over 100%. Not only are homes selling, a lot of homes are selling in these districts. Second would be detached homes in East Calgary. This is a real opportunity to take your equity and move up, either in size or into a more desirable area. East Calgary was the only detached segment where prices increased from October to November of 2025. With 35 new listings and 33 sales, realistic pricing here puts you in a strong position to purchase in a slower moving part of the city. Third, we have semi-detached homes in South Calgary. Semi-detached homes are hot right now, and South Calgary is the standout. It's the only semi-detached segment still sitting in a seller's market, giving owners a real advantage if they list. Now, the fourth property type would be row townhomes in West Calgary. Sales are outpacing new listings here more than any other townhome segment. And while most regions are seeing 5 to 10% year-over-year price declines, West Calgary townhomes are only down 3% and actually up 1.53% month over month. That's strong resilience in this balanced market. Further opportunities to sell do exist within Calgary's micro markets, so if you're wondering whether now or later is the right move, feel free to reach out and I can walk you through a data-backed strategy. That said, right now is a great time for buyers to find deals. Here are some opportunities depending on whether you're a first-time buyer, a downsizer, or someone looking to move up. Starting with first-time homebuyers, the best deals today are in apartments, and based on the trends, I wouldn't be surprised if prices declined even further. So if you're buying a condo, make your offer with the future in mind. This isn't the time to pay near full asking. You'll also have leverage across all product types in Calgary's Northeast, and I expect that trend to continue. But here's a sneaky opportunity: detached homes in the North. On paper, the segment looks balanced, but heavy new construction, which isn't included in our resale stats, gives you leverage against both resale homes and builders. Developers want inventory cleared in slower markets, and I've seen some excellent new build deals because of that. Now, downsizers, if you love your current region, especially the Southeast, you might not need to move that far. Detached homes there are at about a 74% sales to new listings ratio, while row townhomes sit around 58%, giving you options for a lock and leave lifestyle. And if you're considering an apartment for that single level, amenity-rich lifestyle, you have huge leverage. Southeast Calgary apartments sit at 7.35 months of supply, the most buyer favorite segment in the city. This is also a great chance to move away from the suburbs altogether. You could sell your detached home in the Northwest and move into something more central, and still have money left over to travel Europe and wander through the Christmas markets in Germany. Lastly, for move-up buyers, winter is by far the trickiest time to move up. Homes take longer to sell, and in most cases, it's safer to wait until spring when more buyers enter the market, reducing the risk of carrying two properties. But if you own a row townhome in the West, Northwest, or South Calgary, or an apartment in the West, you may still have some room to maneuver. You'll just need rock-solid pricing, marketing, and presentation to make the move possible. Now, all of these scenarios are general and hypothetical. If you want to evaluate your specific options, we can dig deeper into the data and build a plan that's hyper-specific to your goals. That's actually my job in its essence. Just reach out if you're thinking about moving anywhere from now to 2 years from now. As I mentioned in the beginning, every month I try to provide a different take on the numbers to give you more value than just a general market overview. I enjoy building these thought experiments and presenting them in a way that's easy to digest. If you have any thoughts about the market or Calgary real estate in general, leave a comment and let's chat. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.